Welcome to a new video in my home automation series, and today I've received a new Reolink camera, and this is the RLC 522. And I received this camera mainly to showcase how you can integrate the Reolink camera with other third-party applications, and since I use Node-RED, I will be focusing on how to use it in Node-RED. I partially covered this in earlier videos, but I think I'm going to just revisit a couple of new topics. And also because we have seen quite a few Reolink review videos, I think I'm just going to keep this video short just to focus on the main things. The main features of this camera is, this is obviously an outdoor camera. It is designed to be mounted upside down or on the wall like this, and you can rotate it 360 degrees this way, and you can also rotate this head, I believe it's 70 degrees, and sort of like either direction, and also rotate it so your view is going to be, in the right orientation. So this is not a motorized camera. It just gives you a flexibility of mounting it in different places and rotate it in a way that, it captures the area that you want to capture. It contains a 5 megapixel sensor with infrared night vision up to 30 meters, and it comes with an Ethernet connector. And as you can see, there is a power connector, a reset button, and an Ethernet connector. You can power it from 12 volts via this barrel jack, but it also supports power over Ethernet. So you can get away by just connecting it to a network and then powering it through the network cable as well. For example, if you have a power over Ethernet switch. Just like with most Reolink cameras, it also gives you an option to store the recordings locally. So there is a micro SD card slot in here, but you can also store the recordings in a Reolink NVR or in the cloud. And I almost forgot to mention that this unit also has a 3x optical zoom, so you can zoom into your fixed object that you have set by rotating the camera. And of course it has all the other features that we usually see from other Reolink cameras, like motion activation and the various recording options either on the local SD card or on the network recorder. When you receive the box, you are receiving obviously the camera. So as I mentioned before, it's the main camera body is metal and the other components are plastic, and on the bottom there is also this rotatable mount, so this gets screwed on a wall and then you can mount the camera to that one. The cable is coming out on the top, and then as I mentioned before, it terminates in a power lead, a network socket, and also reset button. You are also receiving this cap, so that should keep the network connection watertight, but most probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide all these connectors in a waterproof box. Some mounting screws are also provided, just like a small section of a network cable. So I think this would be ideal to set up the device indoors before you move it outdoors and you install it in the final location. And also there are some documentation, a mounting template, and a couple of Reolink stickers as well. And yesterday I've installed the camera, and you can see the camera up here. It's looking at my backyard, and this was pretty much the only spot where I still had cable internet that I could use to mount the camera. I haven't thought about this much when I was building the house, so I don't have a lot of connection, and the few ones are not really in the best places. So it's looking at this back garden, which makes the image a little bit complicated, because if this white wall is going to make the rest of the image a little bit dark. But then I'm going to include some footage from different times of the day and also some night footage, so you can see how it all looks like in general. And I'm quickly going to run through the features in the app, and most of it is going to be fairly similar to what we have seen in other Reolink cameras. So let me start with the new stuff, which is the zoom. Well, this is my first zoom camera, so that's new for me. So you click on this PTZ button, and of course there is no pan and tilt, so there is only zoom, and it's going to zoom into the middle of the image. So of course you can't move it, unless you physically go to it and then move the camera. So when you position the camera, just make sure that it's centers the image that you want to zoom into, where is the most interest. So it takes a little bit of time to zoom, and whenever it zooms, then it loses focus, and then it auto focuses when it reaches the area that you want to zoom into. And if I zoom out, then again we can see that it takes a little bit of time. I'm really at the edge of my Wi-Fi network, so there is a little bit of lag in my video on the phone, but now you can see it. So if you notice something on your camera and you quickly want to zoom into, the actual subject might actually go away, because it takes about like 6 or 7 seconds to zoom in and autofocus again on the center of the image. And looking at the rest of the controls under the image, you have a pause and play, so you can stop the streaming. You also have the option to turn on the audio. It has a microphone, so it will be able to record and you will be able to hear what's happening. There is only one-way audio, so there is no speaker inside. You can use the photo and the camera icon to take a local snapshot. So that's a snapshot on the phone itself. So now that's the snapshot. And on the last button, you can select this feed. So it is by default is set to a fluent feed, but you can set it up to 5 megapixels, and then it's going to take some time until it loads the full stream. And of course there is not a huge difference on the phone because the screen is quite small. You can see that the bandwidth really jumps, like it's 12 megabits per second or something like that. So I just go back to fluent, it's going to get quicker. And the last button on the right just goes to full screen and portrait mode. We have already looked at the PTZ button. You also have the option to clip the image. So if you want to center on any part of the image, you can do that. And there is also a playback where you can review footages that are saved on the local SD camera. So for example, this is a night footage, and that's me basically just a few minutes ago coming around here. So very easy and quick playback, and since I only installed it yesterday, you can see that I only have recordings for the 7th and the 8th of August. So it always gets highlighted which day has recording, and then which part of the day has a recording. And that's pretty much it in terms of the features. So we can go into the settings and see what things that you can change on a camera. So first of all, you see the model, and it also shows the memory card. I've installed a 32 gig micro SD card, so it only has a few recordings so far. So here you can change a few settings from the device. You can change the name. On the network info, I was not able to set a manual IP. When you open the IP of this camera on just a regular browser, you can make all the changes there. So some of the features that are not available in the app are available in the local browser. So if you want to fine-tune your device, I highly recommend that you can do the basic settings on the phone, but then just type in http://192.168.1. Well, in 55 in my case, and then you will be able to log into the website that the camera serves, and then it has all the settings that you can do. It's more settings than on the phone. On the display, you can make some changes. So I had to rotate the screen because it was upside down. You can set the default qualities. You can also set some of the picture settings. I've turned off the watermark so that displays a Reolink camera, and you can also decide where to put the camera name and also the time and the date. And it's also possible to put in a privacy mask, so if you want to filter something out from the image, or black out something from the image, you can do that. The camera has image motion recognition, so you can set what is the sensitivity. It's set to medium at the moment. You can also customize the sensitivity schedule, so you can increase it during the day or during the night, and then vice versa. And you can also create zones. So this is where the device should detect motion. So by doing this, I can exclude areas from the motion detection, like the trees, where it would create some false positives. So I'm going to save this one. By turning on the push notification, the app is going to send you an Android or the system notification whenever motion is detected. I don't really like that because of the false positives, I get quite a few. And you can also set up emails, so you get email notifications whenever motion is detected. And in the advanced settings, we have a few things that we can change. We have a couple of user management. So by default, you have an admin user that you set the password to when you set up the device. You also can set up the time and date, but that usually synchronizes from a time server. You can also set up FTP upload, where it uploads images and recordings to an FTP server. I'm not using that at the moment. And you can also enable if you want to record audio. Maybe for some reason you don't want to do that. And also I left the infrared lights on auto. And I think that's pretty much it. And if you have seen some of my other Reolink camera videos, you see that the user interface and the way you use it is very similar to the other cameras. It has the zoom feature, so that's obviously a new button that you might not have seen with other cameras. But other than that, it's really a seamless experience across the various Reolink products. But that will be all for today. If you are interested in this product, I will leave purchasing links in the video description. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in the next video.